We hear it every single week. We'd love to sell, but we just can't justify giving up our rate. I talked to a couple last Tuesday. They have a 3.1% mortgage. They outgrew their house 2 years ago, but they're stuck, or at least they feel stuck.
And Colleen, I don't think people realize how widespread this actually is. Millions of homeowners across the country have rates under 4%, and some even under 3%. And the thought of trading that for a 6-something% rate on a new purchase, it stops people cold in their tracks.
It does. But here's the question we want you to explore today. Are you actually stuck, or does it just feel that way?
Because the mortgage rate is one number. It's an important number, but it's not the only number.
Today, we're going to walk through real math, the real life situations we're seeing, and the most important question that might change how you think about your rate entirely.
Before we go deeper, Colleen, let's name the thing nobody wants to say out loud.
All right.
A 3% mortgage rate feels like winning the lottery, and walking away from it feels like losing something. But what we've seen with real clients, real situations, is that holding onto the rate can cost more than letting it go. Let's talk about why.
Okay, let's do some real numbers here. A $250,000 mortgage at 3.5%. Their monthly payment, principal, and interest is about $1,122. If they buy a new home with a $350,000 mortgage at 6.5% interest rate, that payment jumps to about $2,212 per month. Almost double. That's scary.
It is, and that's where most people stop. They see that number and the gap and they say, nope, we're staying. And I understand that reaction, but here's where it gets interesting.
This is the part that people miss.
Life doesn't stop because rates went up. People get divorced, they take new jobs in different cities, they have another baby, and suddenly that 3-bedroom feels like a shoebox. Empty nesters are rattling around in 3,000 square feet they don't need.
And every one of those situations has a cost too. Commuting 2 hours a day because you don't want to move closer to the new job, that's a cost. Staying in a school district you're unhappy with, that's a cost. Paying for storage units and constant repairs on a house that's too big, that's a big cost.
The mortgage rate is one number on one sheet of paper. It's not the whole picture.
Here's what I really want people to know. And Tammy, I want you to answer this. How many people have you talked to who said, we can't move because of our rate? And then 6 months later, life forced them to move anyway.
More than I can count. Divorce, job relocation, health issues, that requires a single-story home. And in almost every case, they figured it out. The math worked just differently than they expected.
That's the part that sticks with me.
Let me give you some real examples, and I'm going to change the names and the details, but these are actual situations from last year.
Start with the divorce one, because I think that's the most common scenario we see where people don't have a choice.
We've worked with couples going through divorce who both were in the sub 3%. And the house has to be sold no matter what. There's no, let's just wait until rates come down. The decision has been made.
And here's the thing. In those situations, we've seen people actually come out okay. Sometimes better than okay, because they were forced to look at the numbers honestly.
That's right. A couple that we worked with last year, they had a 3.25% interest rate on their home in Murfreesboro. They sold it. Both bought Smoller's home individually, and yes, their rates were higher, but their total housing costs actually went down because they downsized. The rate wasn't the story. The square footage was.
Another one, and I love this example, a family of 4 in a 3-bedroom home in Smyrna. 2 kids were sharing a room. A 2.9% interest rate. They kept saying, we can't give up this rate. But the kids were getting older and the situation was getting harder.
Tell them what happened, Colleen.
They finally ran the numbers with us and they realized they had enough equity to put a massive down payment on a 4-bedroom home in a neighborhood that they love. Yes, their rate went up a little, but because they put so much down, the monthly payment only increased by about $300 for an entire extra bedroom and a better school zone.
$300 a month. That's a couple of dinners out. And you're telling me the rate was the reason to stay in the house that didn't work for your family.
I want to ask everyone watching right now a question, and I genuinely want to hear the answers in the comments. What would mortgage rates have to be for you to move? If you're sitting on a 3% rate, would 5% do it? 4.5%? Or is there no number that would make you leave?
That's a great question because everyone has a different number. For some people, it's a rate. For others, it's a life event. I'd love to see what people say.
Drop it in the comments and be honest. There's no right or wrong answer.
All right, Colleen, let's talk about the other side of this because some people really should stay put. It's not always wrong to stay.
I appreciate you saying that because I don't want anyone watching to think we're saying everyone should sell right now, because that's not true.
Not at all. If you love your home and your payment is comfortable, your life situation hasn't changed, and the house still works for you, stay. A 3% mortgage is a financial gift. Enjoy it.
But even if you're staying, you should know your numbers because circumstances do change. What if your job offers you a promotion that requires a move? Or what if your parents need to move in with you?
Build your plan, not just a reaction.
And that's what we're really saying. You don't have to sell, but you should understand your position. What is your equity? What would your buying power be if you did have to move? Because knowing those numbers means you're making decisions, not just reacting.
The worst position to be in is needing to sell and not knowing what's possible. That's when people make rushed emotional choices.
And you do not have to make decisions based on panic. The more information you actually have, the better choices you actually can make.
Colleen, I want to go somewhere a little uncomfortable.
Ooh.
I think there's a conversation people aren't having about the rate lock-in.
Let's go there, Tammy.
Some of the people who stay there trapped by their rates are actually using the rates as a reason to avoid decisions they don't want to make. It's not really about the numbers, it's about the fear of the change.
That's honest, and that's true, and I think you're right.
Moving is stressful. Selling a home you've built with memories is emotional. Buying in a market that feels uncertain, that's scary. The rate is very convenient, very rational sounding reason to avoid all of that.
Remove emotion long enough to evaluate reality. The answer usually has less to do with emotion and more to do with actual numbers.
So here's what we recommend if you're telling yourself you're stuck because of your rate. Run the real numbers, not the back of the napkin math. Sit down with someone who can show you exactly what buying and selling would look like. Then make the decision.
And if the numbers say stay, great. Now you're staying from a position of knowledge, not fear.
Here's what we want you to take away. Your mortgage rate is one number, an important number, but it's not a prison sentence. And it's not a reason to stay in a situation that really isn't working out for you.
Life happens. Job changes, growing families, empty nest, divorce. These things don't wait for a mortgage rates to come down. And in our experience, people who face the numbers honestly usually find a path forward that works.
If you're sitting on a low rate and you're happy, enjoy it. You've earned that. If you're sitting on a low rate and you're unhappy, let's have that conversation. Not a sales pitch, just real numbers and an honest advice.
We've created a process to help you evaluate your specific situation, where you stand, what you could buy, and what makes sense for your life. Not the national headlines, not the national averages. Your actual numbers.
Reach out directly. The link is in the description below. Drop your rate, what it would take for you to move, and in the comments, we read every single one.
We're Red Door Alliance, and we serve Middle Tennessee. Let's build your plan, not just a reaction.
We're here to give you the real scoop on real estate. Like and follow for weekly market updates, local insights, and all the geeky real estate stats.
If you enjoyed this, please share it with someone who you think it would resonate with.
We would love for you to like, follow, and share.